that I've
Is that
lost.
what you call what's been going on?
Yeah, well, if there's something that I have lost, it's faith in the two-party system.
Absolutely.
Our democracy works fine, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
But I would be in favor of promoting third and fourth parties. And of course, people freak out about that, mainly people who are inside the parties.
Yeah. Right.
Wait a minute. We don't want to lose our
same
authority.
people that have the options and opportunities to create real campaign reform, but why would they want to do that?
Why would they want to do
right,
that?
Literally take money right out of their pockets.
That's
so
that's
you wouldn't
exactly
want
right.
that.
So we're the cynical brothers here today.
Hey.
That's all right. I feel the need, and nobody listens to me, but I feel a need to say that.
It's amazing you've been employed all this long.
Well, it is. I've experienced highs and lows over the last 12 years. I've been a force for good. I've been a force for evil. I've been, according to some. And mainly people say, who are you? Who are you?
Who are you?
There's
and I didn't watch the inauguration. As a matter of fact, the only inauguration I've ever watched is Obama's in my entire life. Yeah, that was the only one I watched. I felt that was a big one. So
I remember watching Jimmy Carter's.
Yeah.
I was in the Colony Inn, a bar that no longer exists in Algona, Iowa. Okay. And I think I was warmed up already about 2:00 in the afternoon, and the VFW hall was right across the street.
Sure.
Well, I saw a commotion over there, and I asked somebody, "What's going on over there?" "Oh, I think Jimmy Carter, one of the people, are running for offices over there." "Oh yeah, well, okay. I wonder if they have beer or free food or something." So I decided to go over there.
Never been to a VFW that didn't sell beer.
So I went over there. Me and a couple of guys went over there. And why the heck not? Just spur of the mind. There he was, looking and sounding like he always did. He wasn't a big guy. He was like 5'8" and got a slender, But perfectly nice. And I remember thinking, this little hillbilly is never going to be president of the United States, right? And by God, he was. There were some other pretty strong candidates at the time.
So when I was super young, I got to meet Jesse James when he was first running for president.
Jesse James or Jesse Jackson?
Sorry, Jesse Jackson, not Jesse James.
Yeah,
Jesse Jackson.
Wow, you're going back. You didn't look nearly that old.
And so it was when he was running for president, and if I recall, that was the first black candidate. But I could be wrong. Probably him. But I thought that was an interesting experience. I was pretty young. And then that was I think that was the same election that I met Michael Dukakis.
Oh, really? Probably was.
Yeah. And then he lost that election. And
oh, yeah. Mike just wasn't.
Was that to
Mike just
Reagan or Bush?
Yeah, that was Bush. That was and if you got Bush beat Senior. By George H.W. Bush, you were really a bad candidate. Yeah, he got beat.
There was something that came out in like the 23rd hour that just I felt crippled him or crushed him.
Dukakis?
Yeah, there was some scandal I feel like that came out right at the end.
No,
that was what kind of teetered the election.
He was boring, but that wasn't news. That's what I have against Biden.
Here's the thing: I think he was boring because my experience was not near as memorable in the time that I spent with him. That was just in my friend's living room versus when I was at like an actual outdoor event where I saw Jesse Jackson, not Jesse James.
I went to a Chicago Cubs game a few years ago, and a group of older black men come walking my way, and at the lead, it's Jesse Jackson. And I just had to go over and shake his hand. I thought maybe I'll be shoved aside by security or something. Reverend Jackson he welcomed me in that soft Southern way of his, and he was very cordial, very friendly.
Big smile. Always had a big smile.
Always big smile. I took a picture of him. I was too nervous to take a selfie, so I just took a picture of him wearing a Cub hat.
Nice.
This is AM 14. Whoops! I thought there was somebody on the phone.
There was.
Yeah, I thought there was. 955-1400. If you have a question or comment for Councilman Halter, this is really why he comes over here and why Allstott and Fritz don't.
So, last time I was here, we talked about animal control.
Yes.
Caller's back.
Here we go. Oh, look at that now. I hit the.
You hit the wrong button. What are you hanging up on people, man?
Well,
you keep trying. He'll eventually hit the right button, everybody.
Well, maybe this is
955-1400.
Well,
also
maybe
known as 1400. That's some weird feedback.
Yeah, that's I think we got way too much tone up here or something.
Wow.
Yeah, I've had problems with gremlins in here all day long.
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Dang on them.
I know. Oh, well, I don't know.
But yeah, and so last time I was here, I talked about animal control. I think it's about the only thing we talked about, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think that there's going to be some opportunities to look at producing a better system where we can still work with the county. I know that was important to Keith Denclaw when he called last time. And so I think there's a way to do that. And I think there's a way to separate some of the duties that animal control was taking care of before that can go to other departments. And I think that we can find a way to make it fit in the budget and possibly find a way to make it fit in the budget even better than what it currently does. So
I got a whole bunch of cats living over in the Corpus Christi neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, behind Corpus Christi, down the river there. Yeah, good luck rounding those suckers up. Man.
Yeah, so no, we have there is part of an option for that. There's this group, and I can't remember their name, but what they do is basically they come, they catch the cats, they get them neutered or spaded,
really?
And then release them back to where they were. So it doesn't necessarily decrease the current population, but it can help with future population if they have been spayed or neutered and are not able to produce more cats. So
that's always good.
Yeah, so that's an option, and I think that that's something that we can probably get fit into the budget as well.
I was out to my cousin's farm one year, and the grown men said, "Come on, you boys, we're going to go castrate pigs." I didn't even know what he meant, I was too little. So we're out there, and these guys start castrating pigs. I was so grossed out, and I felt very uncomfortable. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I've been there, done that. I didn't help inseminate a cow, but I watched it done.
Well, by the time I was a teenager, I got to hold the hind legs.
Yeah,
which I was promoted.
Right, that was my responsibility as well. Right, I was high school. I was a strong guy, I guess. And so yeah, halter, grab that thing by the legs and hold it up.
Well, these were just little pigs,
Yeah, they're just little piglets.
If you're going to castrate some 200-pound boar, you're going to have a fight in your hands.
Oh, I ain't playing that. No way.
I don't think it's good.
No, I need to just pick them up with one hand by their back legs and let them do what they need to do.
Well, I don't know. It was one of those times in life that you just can't forget, even though I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Again, okay, I'll come. Okay, here's what you do. Now you spray this disinfectant once we're done. Okay.
I remember a friend of mine, he always talked about how smart cattle were, and then he took over his father's cattle farm, and then all of a sudden cows weren't smart anymore. It was amazing.
Yeah, pigs surprisingly are smarter than horses and cattle.
Say as smart as dogs.
Yeah, they are, and they can be trained. I mean, what's the guy up there in Badger? Josephson Feed, I think.
Okay, yep, I've met him.
Steve, I think. He's Dinklaw's brother-in-law, actually.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
No, he came and talked to me one day. I rode my bike up there to visit the bar, and that's just right across the street, the feed shed thing. And he came over and was just talking to me about bikes and how do we get bike trails to Badger, and that'd be a really great option. And
sure.
And we had a conversation, and I let him know I was on the city council, and I agreed that it's something we should.
You told him you had power, didn't you?
I don't know about that, but
no, he used to have
a vote.
He used to have a trained pig. Joseph did.
Really?
In his,
totally believe it.
Yeah, I mean, it had a litter and everything, and when it had to go to the bathroom, it just wandered over.
My wife's cat will play fetch.
No, really?
For real.
Cats Cats have that unusual instinct. They can find the litter. If there's a litter in the house,
they know where it's at.
They find it, and that's all you got to do.
Yeah, and when they lose their way, it's something like they can smell their own scent from like 7 miles or 5 miles.
Oh, ridiculous
amount of time ways away.
I don't know if you've met Julie, the girl I spent a little time with. Well, she's my age, so she's not.
Yeah, I remember her.
Okay, but she's a cat lover. Oh God, that woman loves cats. And she's trained a lot of them, but she doesn't have to train them to go to the litter. When she gets a new cat, she takes it downstairs and shows the cat the litter.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yep.
End of story. I mean, it could be a little kitten, just not hardly.
Yeah.
That's the end of that. So, dogs, which I love, they'll take it, they'll take one wherever they're at,
Right.
Drives you crazy. I don't know how to train dogs, so I don't have one.
patience, time, and rewards.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Oh,
Just take
Johansson. I'm sorry.
Johansson.
And I realized I was saying that wrong. But one of my breakfast buddies, who's pretty loose with his money.
Yeah. So you don't have to pay for a lot of breakfasts?
Oh, no. This guy would walk 10 miles for a dime.
Oh, no, the opposite. Okay, got you.
I think I saw a dime on the way back from Badger. I better walk back and get it. But yeah, he's absolutely right. Steve Johansson is married to Keith's sister.
All right, cool.
And yeah, he's a good guy. Steve is a good guy.
So I was going to mention
Warden Plaza.
No?
No.
Did you want to talk about that?
I just wanted to talk about it very briefly.
Okay, what do you know?
You're the
What's
only. Well, I don't know anything.
Neither
But
do I.
the one thing I know about the Warden Plaza, nobody from the city wants to talk about it. Matt doesn't want to talk about it. David Feerick doesn't want to talk about it. I don't imagine.
Well, there's some things that need to be cleared up and stuff, I think, before.
The only thing anybody seems to know.
Before there's a lot we can say.
Yeah, the developer who's been jerking us around all these years, we've taken the property back because of this jerking us around, is now suing us for taking the property back.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's guts, isn't it? Boy, that takes some.
And there's why you're not getting a lot of people from the city to talk about it.
The lawsuit?
Yeah, you don't discuss pending litigation. Is that how that quote goes?
Well, that's probably a good idea, but we should, residents should know the reason for the lawsuit.
You're correct.
And the city took back
time. It will be out there.
It will all be out there.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations.
And we will prevail at the city level because we're macho.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it, right? It's a really tall building. It's really big. It's got a lot of broken windows. It's got a lot of potential. And do I still feel that there could be that potential could be capitalized on? I haven't 100% lost my faith, but I think that that there's something that could be done. What is that? When's that going to be? Who knows?
Yeah.
It's just it's just a gigantic liability. It's just a giant burden.
But there are so many things we could do with it. I keep barking about a facility for people who have mental health problems.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lesser chance of repeating what happened to Pastor Henderson.
Sure.
And that would be one of the uses for the Warden building. Yeah. I mean, the Fort
or an Ed Thomas,
right. Yeah. And the fine arts people, of course, had plans to be there.
This is a great segue.
Yeah.
You didn't know where I was going, but this is a great segue, man.
Well, tell me about it.
Swami must be putting out the vibes. You're picking them up, dude.
All right.
No, yeah, you're right. So part of the Warden was to look at creating a space, like a theater space. We called it like a black box thing, where it's very, very flexible.
Your wife is in the
and very flexible and having opportunities to have performing arts and have good adequate space for practices, but at the same time making that so that it's very flexible and can be moved and utilized for lots of different things. And so I really would like to give a shout out to Fort Dodge Fine Arts and for the fact that although that project at the Warden got to a point where it really got stalled, there was a lot of dragging of feet, and now it's basically just sitting there, right, stuck. That Fort Dodge Fine Arts still made it upon itself that, well, we're not just going to sit here and wait and see what happens. We're going to go take action and we're going to get things done. And so what a lot of people probably aren't aware of is that they've been working at restoring the auditorium in Phillips.
Okay.
So Phillips was converted to those really nice apartments.
That's
right?
my neighborhood over there.
Yeah. And
I still call it North Junior High after all.
Okay. So yeah, the North Junior High, Phillips School. So it's been converted to apartments, but the auditorium was left. And so they've worked with the Fouch brothers to be able to have access to that theater, to be able to restore it and try to get it looking good as they can and back to how amazing that it was at first, and have a larger venue and space for more of those performing arts. And so I just think it's really great. So some of the things they've gotten done already, there was a lot of the stage that structurally was just not good.
Mhm.
And so structurally it's been rebuilt to completely pull up every board and replace it down. At the time was a little too expensive. And so the focus was more on the structure of it and then just kind of resurfacing it so that it's smooth. So there's not trip hazards or et cetera on the stage. And so a lot of that work's already been done. The painting has been taken care of. The next big things are carpet. So new carpet, price tag of like 15 grand. And then having a company come in that's going to clean and restore the seats with the hope that it'll restore them to look like new again. Some of them are damaged, and so it's a matter of trying to get some of those repairs done, swapping maybe some seating from the balcony down to the main floor so that all the seats are working, and then getting those all cleaned up. That's a price tag of about $6 grand. And then another big expense is the curtain. And this is something that I learned. Those things are like almost $100,000 for a new.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude, for a curtain. Right. So
Man.
tens of thousands can get you a used one. And so I think that's kind of the route that they're hoping for. That's kind of they've just kind of been doing it in phases. And so the first phase was really the stage. That's been addressed now, and then some paint and some cosmetic stuff like carpet and the cleaning of the seats, like I mentioned, and then kind of after that, it's the curtain, it's the sound system, the lighting,
Right.
those kinds of things. But just have been pecking away at it and getting that done. And I just think it's just something that a lot of people aren't aware of. And so I just wanted to take advantage of my time here to be able to share that. So thank you.
All right. By the way, I'm going to work on my friend at J Mars Saturday where we all got to have breakfast.
Yeah. So the kids at Iowa Central that aren't from around here call it Jamars.
Jamars?
Yeah.
It happens.
I was just talking to Chad Schaefer about that. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try to, my buddy here who texted me the correct name, Johansson, he'll be out to J Mars this Saturday. I'm going to try to get him to buy breakfast for everybody who comes in for an hour or so.
Have a nice French breakfast at Jamar's.
Money. He could buy J Mars.
That's because he stopped. That's because he took the time to stop and pick up them dimes, man.
I think that's exactly the reason.
That's right.
All right, Jeff, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me again, Mike.
4:00 in the afternoon. Carrie Prescott's going to come up and talk about some vaccination action, which is a good thing. News is next.
It's everything digital on the Kim Komando Show every Saturday from 11 to 2 on the voice of Fort Dodge, AM 1400 KVFD, Fort Dodge.
We might be hitting a pandemic plateau. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from Dr. Anthony Fauci, who's now President Biden's top medical advisor on COVID. Though for now, COVID is still killing thousands of people every day in the U.S. And President Biden calls the current vaccine rollout a dismal failure. So he's hoping to quickly begin expanding access and supplies.
We directed the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, to start standing up the first federally supported community vaccination centers with the goal of standing up 100 centers within the next month.
He says the CDC will launch the program aimed at making vaccines available at neighborhood pharmacies across the country. The president signed 10 executive orders also aimed at getting K-8 schools and child care centers reopened. Congress putting the president's nominee for defense chief on the fast track to a confirmation vote. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
Retired General Lloyd Austin won bipartisan support for a waiver to a federal law requiring officers to be out of the military at least 7 years before leading the Pentagon.
100% Mr. Austin has met the criteria to be granted this exclusion.
House Armed Services Committee Chairman Adam Smith and the committee's top Republican Mike Rogers recommended the waiver, but Rogers adds,
Congress should not have to entertain these waivers. Presidents need to follow the law as written.
And President Trump's first defense secretary, retired General James Mattis, also required that waiver. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Over half of the National Guard troops protecting the nation's capital are preparing to head home.
According to the National Guard, 15,000 troops have been told to stand down and are making preparations to leave Washington now that the inauguration of the 46th president is complete.
Another 7,000, though, says Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon, will stay till the end of the month. America is listening to Fox News.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs. And when you partner with a Dell Technologies advisor, you get real-time tailored advice. They'll even give you a free consultation on your servers and storage devices to develop a custom solution to help improve your company's productivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit and big savings on business computers with Intel Core processors. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Hello?
Hi, I'm calling on behalf of the Mice Nest.
Mice Nest?
Yes, Mice Nest. It's a nest of mice. They finished chewing through your RV wiring, so the fire should start soon.
Can we cancel that?
Oh, sorry. Once scheduled, they can't really stop because they're mice. A nest of them.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
Oh, and if you could stay on the line for a quick survey.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
A federal judge in Seattle is refusing to reinstate a social media site shut down by Amazon.
U.S. District Judge Barbara Rothstein rules against Parler, a conservative Twitter alternative, and Parler's demand that Amazon restore its service after it was booted from Amazon Web Services following a decision by Apple and Google to also silence Parler's mobile apps in the wake of protests earlier this month at the U.S. Capitol. The judge, a Jimmy Carter appointee, rejecting any suggestion that the public interest favors requiring Amazon to host what she calls incendiary speech that she says the record shows some of Parler's users have engaged in. Parler and its supporters say the crackdown is being driven by politics.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Several people facing charges after violent protests in at least 3 western cities on Inauguration Day. In Portland, Oregon, demonstrators started at a federal building and then smashed windows and wrote anarchist symbols on local businesses. Police in Pennsylvania trying to figure out who fired shots at a local Democratic Party headquarters.
Investigators in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, outside Philadelphia, say somebody fired a gun through the front window of the county Democratic Party headquarters. Nobody was hurt. The bullet holes were discovered Wednesday morning. It is believed the window was shot overnight when nobody was at the office. Police and the FBI are searching through security camera footage. The staff did receive an email recently complaining of a so-called stolen election, but it's not known if the gunshots are connected. Eben Brown, Fox News.
A small town in Maryland getting a lot of attention after one winning ticket was sold for last night's Powerball jackpot, over $731 million worth. Maryland's one of the states, though, where winners can remain anonymous. A mixed day on Wall Street, the Dow down 12 points. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Your news, your town, your station. KVFD News when it breaks.
With your KVFD News Update, I'm Rob Jones. A former Carroll High School basketball player who was found with a gun and allegedly ran from police has been sentenced to prison. In May of last year, police were dispatched to the Walmart parking lot in Spirit Lake after an incomplete 911 call. Upon arrival, officers found 18-year-old Boomkuth Lowell of Carroll sitting in a vehicle with a juvenile female. Police reports say the smell of marijuana was permeating from the car. A search then turned up a handgun. Lowell ran on foot and a chase ensued. Officers lost sight of him, but then brought in a police dog, which was able to track Lowell, and he was arrested without incident. Lowell entered a guilty plea to possessing a handgun. He was prohibited from possessing a gun after being convicted in 2019 of attempted burglary in Buena Vista County. Lowell has been sentenced to 27 months. He's currently in the custody of the U.S. Marshals, awaiting transport to federal prison. The former Webster City employee accused of various financial crimes will avoid jail time. 41-year-old Leah Mulholland received 5 years probation and a fine of $1,000 as her 10-year prison sentence was suspended. Mulholland pleaded guilty in December to first-degree theft, and the other charges against her were then dropped. She was arrested in February of last year after an investigation turned up over $230,000 of improper financial disbursements by the Webster City Chamber of Commerce. Mulholland worked at the chamber for 5 years and was originally charged with ongoing criminal conduct, forgery, and unauthorized use of credit cards. All of those charges stem from the investigation. Eric Branstad, who led President Trump's general election campaigns in Iowa, is a key supporter of one of the pardons President Trump has granted. Radio Iowa's O.K. Henderson has more.
President Trump pardoned Elliot Broidy, a former top Republican fundraiser who pleaded guilty last year to conspiring to violate foreign lobbying laws for clients in China and Malaysia. Eric Branstad's name is among 21 listed by the White House as supporting Broidy's pardon. Broidy was a fundraiser for Trump's 2016 campaign. Branstad managed Trump's Iowa campaign in 2016 and did work in Minnesota and Wisconsin as well. Radio Iowa, I'm O.K. Henderson.
Both the Iowa Central women and men's teams got wins over North Iowa area on Wednesday night in their season openers. The Triton women won 64-54. Iowa Central controlled the game. Their largest lead of the night was 17. Former Webster City standout Taylor McKinney had 11 in her collegiate debut. Nevaeh Galloway with a double-double of 15 points and 15 boards. The Triton men would get a big second half effort. They would use a 20-1 second half run to outscore Nyack 39-26 after the break and go on to win the game 75-64. Iowa Central with 5 players in double figures, led by Uzo Dibiamaka with 16. Javante Keck had a double-double, 12 points and 11 boards. Triton women and men are back at it this Saturday afternoon at Hodges Fieldhouse, hosting Iowa Western. For KVFD from the Jerry Sheeter Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones.
Here's the AM 1400 KVFD weatherology forecast. Bright sunshine this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 39. Winds out of the northwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies. Tonight, lows dip down to about 6 above. Highs level off around 20. Tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sun. 2 to 4 inches of snow Saturday through Saturday night. From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 36.
If you're experiencing suicidal thoughts or thinking about harming others, immediate help is available. Call the Unity Point Health Mobile Crisis Line by dialing Your Life Iowa or 855-581-8111. We provide free urgent mental health services on the phone and in person.